Anti-ICE protests are set to take place across the United States, as activists call for a nationwide strike against the Trump administration's aggressive immigration enforcement policies. Organizers are urging people to participate in what they describe as a national shutdown, calling for no work, no school, and no shopping on Friday. The action is aimed at applying economic pressure to demand accountability and reform in the operations of immigration and customs enforcement, commonly known as ICE. The planned blackout is part of a growing non-violent movement that has gained momentum following several fatal incidents involving federal agents. These deaths include Renee Good and Alex Pretty in Minneapolis, Keith Porter in Los Angeles, and Silverio Villegas Gonzalez in Illinois. The incidents have intensified public scrutiny of ICE's enforcement tactics. Student leaders from the University of Minnesota are among the main organizers of the strike. They are demanding that ICE end its nearly month-long operation in Minneapolis, citing what they describe as racial profiling and excessive force. Kidus Yeshidagna, president of the Ethiopian Students' Union at the University of Minnesota, said the movement must expand beyond state borders. According to him, what began in Minnesota now needs national participation to push lawmakers and the public to take action. Last Friday, thousands of protesters marched through Minnesota streets in extreme cold, while hundreds of businesses shut down in solidarity. The demonstrations followed the killing of Renee Good, who was reportedly shot by an ICE agent while attempting to protect a neighbor. Days later, Alex Pretty was also killed while observing federal agents' activity. Student organizations representing Black, Somali, Liberian, Ethiopian, and Eritrean communities, along with the Graduate Labor Union, have been coordinating the protests since January 21st. Organizers say turnout continues to grow despite harsh weather and mounting pressure. Across the country, businesses including restaurants, bookstores, coffee shops, and clothing retailers have announced closures in support of the strike. Protesters are gathering at city halls, courthouses, state houses, and legislative buildings in cities such as Philadelphia, New York, Boise, and Columbus. Student walkouts are also underway at high schools and colleges in states including Florida and California. In Washington, D.C. and other cities, protesters are rallying outside Target stores following reports that ICE agents violently detained 2 Target employees in Minnesota. Activists are calling for a sustained boycott of the retail chain. Support for the strike has expanded rapidly. Families and neighbors of the victims have expressed solidarity with the movement. Hundreds of organizations, including labor unions, student groups, and major activist networks such as 50501, have endorsed the nationwide action. National organizers say the goal is to disrupt what they describe as the systems enabling current immigration policies. They argue that mass participation sends a clear message that fear and intimidation will not silence public opposition. Several high-profile figures have also voiced support, including Ariana Grande, Macklemore, and Pedro Pascal, helping bring wider attention to the protests. Yeshidagna, who grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota, noted that he was only minutes away from where George Floyd was killed in 2020. He says the current situation feels disturbingly familiar, as ICE operations have increased across the state. He emphasized that the issue goes beyond immigration. According to organizers, US citizens are also being affected, making this a broader human rights concern. Friday's protests come as lawmakers in Washington face a possible partial government shutdown. Several Senate Democrats and some Republicans have said they will oppose any spending bill that includes funding for the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees ICE. Democrats are pushing for reforms that would require arrest warrants and ban federal agents from wearing masks during enforcement operations.